In this video, we will introduce MUDBOX. So we're going to talk about the user interface and how we can start to get familiarized with the software. Now, it's just going to be an introductory video. We're going to go more in depth in the following videos. So subscribe and stay tuned. So we saw in the previous video how we can download and install the various versions. You can try the software for 30 days. You have a trial version, a free trial version. You have student version and educator version, and also you can have like commercial versions. So in this case, you can see here I've already opened it up. Double click on the icon and of course open it up, and then you are in this first stage, which is going to show you this couple of panels right here. So first one is going to be what's new. So if you don't want this, just deactivate this and do not show it as the top. And if you want to show the new features highlighted, just leave these on. So you have those two checkboxes there. And once you decide, just click there. If you want, uncheck those both, or you can want to keep it, and then say OK, or close the first one. Now, the second one, again, is a welcome screen. We also saw this in the previous video, again, as an introduction. So here we can start with vehicle, automotive design, character design with a head or body, or we can use an animal as a starting template. So we can either use a template, we can open up an existing file. Right now we don't have any recent file, so I'm just gonna go with this one here, which is a T-Rex. So I'm gonna click there, and I can only see the legs right now. So this is because of the camera view. Now we can adjust the camera just by rolling the scroll wheel. We can go a little bit backward, and we're going to talk about navigation tools, selection tools, management tools later. This is just an introduction, but first of all, you can just scroll the scroll wheel and you can just frame your object a little bit better into the view, which is essentially your camera. And another important tool that you can use at the beginning, it's really easy to use. It's on the top there, right corner on the view. So that's called the view cube, and it's available in all Autodesk software. It's a really easy tool to use. So if you just click on the various part of the tool, it's going to bring you in different views, or you can just click and drag onto that view cube to modify the view. Or you can click on the little house there, is going to bring you back to the home, so the starting point of the camera. So again, if you click and drag, it's going to orbit, so it's going to move around your subject, and this is going to help you at the beginning to get around. But in the following video, we're going to talk about more the movements that you can do. Now, if you click with the left mouse, you're going to start sculpting on the subject. So scroll the scroll wheel to do a zoom, click with the left mouse if you want to start playing around right away. It's really easy. Once you get something in the scene, it's available to work. So this is the workspace, essentially. The central 3D view is for manipulating and modifying, sculpting and painting and so on. So this is the main area of your interface. Now let's start from the top left. So under the icon there of the application, we have the file menu, and this is where you find all the main commands to open up, save. So you can see here, save scene, and you have the command on the left, shortcut keys on the right. So let's begin by saving this. Now you can save it in the original default folder there, or you can create a folder for you, which I've done. I created a MUDBOX folder here, and this is where I want to save my files. So I'm going to start with this first one. Let's call it lesson 01, and you can see I only have one option as an output, so it's going to be .mud. That's the format of MUDBOX, and this is the one that is going to get you back to your scene. So if you want to stop, you can save your work and then continue. Remember, it needs to be saved as a MUDBOX file, otherwise it will not be editable anymore. Like if you save an image or something, that a different output. Now, some things can be obvious for some of you because probably they are not total beginners, but this video is intended for totally people who are like totally new to MUDBOX or perhaps any other software. So if you are a more expert, just skip and go to the following videos. But we're gonna keep things step by step. We're gonna increase level, starting from 0 level to more advanced level, little by little. So I can create also a new scene from here. And so you can see now that in my welcome screen, I also have the file that I've just saved, which is called lesson 1 here in the recent files section. So I can then click there and continue my work. So remember to save your work before closing. You can also save as a with different names. Now you can also import or export. Now you can export with send to Maya or send to 3ds Max. So if you are working with Maya or with 3ds Max, with just one click, you can just send your work there and continue there. So you can see these are grayed out because this option is not available at the moment because I don't have these two software installed, so I cannot use it. But if you have it, that's a quick way you can just export to those software and continue the work there. Now Maya and 3D Studio Max are excellent for creating scenes, more complex scenes or animations, complex and realistic renderings and so on. So we already talked about this. When you work in MUDBOX, you're probably gonna concentrate on one single subject, character, jewelry, whatever, and then you will probably proceed into another software to do like more complex scenes. And you can also export using the export features, or you can import. Now, well, this goes also the other way. When you are creating a character in 3ds Max, you can have more features for sculpting and painting here in MUDBOX. So you want to probably import it from another 3D software where you just created like the draft. And here you will import it to do like details and sculpting and painting. Import UV, it's about textures. Now, we are not going to go like into deep with all of this stuff. And this one here is, again, recent files. So I can also retrieve my recent file from there. So we will not go into deep. This is just an introduction, but we will cover all these topics later on, like materials, textures, mapping. So UV are usually for mapping, but I'm not going to explain it in this video. I'm just going to do it later on. So this is the file menu where you have all these really basic and fundamental commands that you need to know to save, open, and also you can do incremental and save. So if you want to save like more version of your model, but we're gonna perhaps come back here. This is really easy, actually. It's a really easy menu, but I just want to show you how like menu works. And also here, remember, you have shortcut keys on the right. If you want to memorize them, they can help you to be more efficient and quicker and to do a better job. Now, also in the edit, we have like things to edit the workspace, like you can frame, you can navigate, you can hide, you can freeze. Also, these two at the top are really important. Control Z and Shift Z, which are for moving forward and backward in your work. So if you do something you think it's wrong, let's sculpt, for example, here again on this with the left mouse click and drag on the T-Rex. So if you think that's wrong, you can just click undo or hit Control Z on the keyboard, go back, or you can just go forward, back, forward. There you go. So it's just like a history command, so that will let you move back and forward. And this is really important where you're sculpting, to be able to go back and forward really easy. Something you cannot do like with real sculpting in reality. And then you have creation of mesh, which means 3D models, curves, which means 2D, and camera, lights, materials, and other stuff. Again, we're going to talk about later. Then you have here the mesh, this is specific for 3D models. And then you have the display, which is specific for handling and managing the display. So again, for make some operations of hide and show and so on. And then you have UVs and maps. This is for, again, textures and materials. So it's a topic that we're going to cover later on in the end of the video course, together also with rendering, which is kind of really the final setting for export your image. And then you have a part concerning Windows, so how you can manage the panels in the interface. And then you have a help if you need like additional help. So this is the first part of the menu. Now you will find all the commands in the software in the menu. So everything is there. Now on the right side, we have the account. So this one here should show the account that you use to log in or to use MUDBOX. And in the right, we have these panels for layers. So you can use layers to manage your work, and we have this kind of navigator of the objects that we have in the file. So these are like the cameras, the default cameras, and then we have the default light, and we have the default material, and then the T-Rex we just imported. So from here you can see everything that's in the scene, and here you have other things for post-production things, so we're gonna see those later. Now, something interesting about the layers is that you have sculpting layers and painting layers. So you can sculpt and paint on different layers, kind of like Photoshop. So you can, like, again, manage the various things you're gonna do in your work. Down there, you have the properties. So this is where you can go more into depth with the tools and to specify parameters and values. And then on the bottom, we have the different tools concerning the sculpting. These are the sculpt tools right there. And also, if you don't see better, if you want to see better the names, you can just click and drag the when you see those two arrows appearing, you can just click and drag so you can make more space for those. You can also click and drag it there in the middle to assign more space to the tools or more space to these others features on the right. There you go. So you can also scroll, of course, horizontally using those scrolling bars. And then we have paint tools, curve tools, pose tools for posing, and transforming tools, selection tools. So you have all the tools down there. And these are like additional tools or like additional features that you can add to some of the tools, like stamp, which will help you to create like more details when you are sculpting, but also when you are painting. So you can use stencil effects, which are like alpha channels that will help you paint or sculpt only in particular parts. Then you have falloff, again, to manage the way you can sculpt and paint. And then you have materials presets, lighting presets when you work with materials, lights, and then camera bookmarks. Now, this is we already said it. This is the main space, the central space. That's where everything happens, essentially. Now, if you have also a pen and a tablet, it's going to be better if you need to sculpt. It's going to be better than the mouse anyway. So you can try with the mouse, but it's suggested that you use a pen or tablet. Now, if you want to save this view, I can just go there in the bookmarks, click on the little arrow, and save this as a view. So anytime I want to get back to that view, let's say that I'm moving here with the view cube, I want to get back there. There you go. So this is a way you can use demonstration on. You can use all these extra features and panels and tools and menus that you have there. But we're going to go more in specific in the following videos. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel to stay updated for more, not only in MUDBOX, but also other sculpting and modeling tools. You can already see many video courses in many software for 3D modeling, sculpting, and painting, and so on. If you want to give us a little thank you, you can join the channel as a supporter. So this will be all for this first lesson. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next.